sports.
We are Sports. We are Sports.
It's a beautiful day in the Tampa Bay area. We greet you on a Labor Day to an afternoon of Rays baseball from Tropicana Field. This will be the fourth and final game of this series between the Rays and the Red Sox. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Well, a beautiful day outside, and here at Tropicana Field, the Rays and the Red Sox pull the curtain on at least the Tampa Bay end of this season series. The Rays have a series against the Red Sox left at Fenway. Big news for the Rays is that the lefty Drew Smyly is on the hill, and boy, how good has he been?
I was just going to ask you that. I mean, how good has he been? 5 starts with the Rays, a 1.50 earned run average. Drew Smyly has been nothing short of sensational since joining the Rays. And if you want to break it down a little bit further, look what he's done in his last 4 starts. A perfect 3-0 record, an ERA of .88. How about the opponent's average? The numbers you don't see there, 30 2/3 innings. He's given up just 3 earned runs on 11 hits. Outstanding numbers, and he's done it because he's been in complete command of all of his pitches. The fastball up and down in the zone, the cutter, the curveball. He's going to work it all over, all 4 quadrants, in and out, and try to keep this Boston Red Sox lineup off balance.
Well, the Rays are 8-7 against the Boston Red Sox this year. They dropped 2 out of 3 in this series, so this afternoon they're trying to gain a split here against this Boston club. When we come back, Todd Callis will get the State of the Union from an umpire's perspective on what's going on with the replay situation. You like it? You don't? Somewhere in between. Todd chats with Hunter Wendelstedt when we return. Sun Sports is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Checkers, big Philly flavors, small price. Checkers Philly cheesesteak and the new Chicken Philly. Each just $1.99. At Tropicana Field today, the Rays and the Boston Red Sox wrap up their 4-game series. First pitch just moments away, but first let's go to left field and Todd Callis.
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much. The Rays and the Red Sox, as you mentioned, wrapping things up on this Labor Day. It'll be Ruby De La Rosa on the mound against Drew Smyly. All season long, fans, players, managers, umpires have had to get used to some new rules. The replay instituted for the first time fully in 2014, and also some situations at home plate with a catcher's collision rule. That has changed this year as well. Fortunately, we talked to Hunter Wendelstad, who's at first base today on this umpiring crew, and he joined the major leagues in 1998, same year as the Devil Rays came into existence. Explains to us not only that rule, but how replay in general has worked overall this season.
We have baseball men that did this. Joe Torre, one of the best ever, Hall of Famer. He's a catcher. And what he did was they were having those dangerous collisions at the plate. What have you not seen this year? One of those collisions. So Joe Torre and Bud Selig and the powers that be have cleaned it up, and we're not getting those injuries to these star players anymore. The catcher has to be able to catch the ball. The catcher has to be able to field the ball and attempt to make a play. So what has happened now is Joe Torre has told us as an umpire on the field, you continue to umpire. You see what you see, and you make the call. If there is a question as to whether or not there's a violation, then it gets sent to New York. It's like anything else. When something's new, it feels uncomfortable. Then all of a sudden, you do it a few times, it becomes very, very easy. You get to work out the kinks, and that's what we've done. We've had the whole season. It's getting better and better and better.
Joe Madden, for one, probably would like to see the catcher's collision rule revert back to no rule and let them have those collisions. But as you heard, the Major League Baseball stance is that they are cleaning the game up and avoiding those collisions and injuries to catchers at home plate. We will be ready for baseball right around the corner. It's the Rays and the Red Sox, the 4th game of this 10-game homestand, the final game of this 4-game series. Rays looking for a split in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll have the first pitch right around the corner. Enjoy all the action on Sun Sports.
Drew Smyly heads to the mound for the Rays, making his 6th start in a Tampa Bay uniform. This broadcast on Sun Sports, presented in dynamic high definition by H.H. Gregg. For your Southern Ford dealers, here is the starting lineup for Boston. Mookie Betts, followed by Brock Holt and Yoenis Cespedes. Will be Mike Napoli, the DH, Alan Craig, and Daniel Nava, Middlebrooks, Bogarts, and Vasquez. Rounding it out, in the first pitch of this game, presented by Pinch-A-Penny, is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Fastball in the upper 80s from Smyly. It's down. It's 1-1.
And that's about what you can expect. Drew Smyly not overwhelming with fastball velocity, but what he does do well with it is move it around the zone. High to low, low to high. He'll cut it, curveball, changeup.
A lot of different pitches, and he sets his own pace.
Yes, he gets it and throws it. Refreshing. See a pitcher have an idea what he wants to do and execute. And in a timely manner. I mean, he wants to set the tone, not let the batter dictate anything. Listen, I'm up on the rubber, you get in the box, let's go.
Yeah, there may be differing opinions on that, but I've always agreed with that school of thought. You know, the pitcher's starting the whole process out there. Why not continue to control it to the extent that you can? Set your pace and make the hitter adjust to that.
Solidly in your corner.
The foul ball right back into the screen on the full count pitch to Mookie Betts. John Farrell went so far as to call this young outfielder dynamic, and we've seen why he might do that in this series.
Yeah, we've seen his power at the grand slam earlier in the series. We've seen the ball jump off the barrel of the bat. We've seen his speed.
Popped up, a foul ball headed straight back.
There's a lot to like about Mookie Betts, and right now, you know, Boston Red Sox looking for some consistency and out in center field. They've had a number of guys come through. Jackie Bradley Jr., you know, they started the season out with Grady Sizemore out there. Not been able to nail down a spot with anybody yet. Betts is getting his shot.
Betts misses that one, and Hannigan down to Loney to complete the putout on strikeout number 1 of the day for Drew Smyly.
Well, you know, that's what makes it so tough when you face Drew Smyly, his arm angle. And when he drives that ball downhill, as you're going to see right here, and it looks like it's going to be his little cutter. Sometimes that cutter will look like a changeup, which is exactly what it looked like right there. And he just drives that ball downhill, and then the hitter's tough to lay off.
Here's Brock Holt. He takes a strike. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, 25 years plus in the major leagues, calling the balls and strikes. In on Holt, and he fouls it back. Jerry Lane, a fair umpire, but he'll make you throw a strike.
Well, and you know, with as much time as he has in the league, you can bet that his strike zone is consistent. And as a pitcher or a hitter, that's all you're looking for. I mean, you'd love to have a guy with a wider zone, or something that would benefit you. However, if that's not the case, as long as he's consistent, you can live with it.
Yeah, and I think most of the hitters and pitchers in baseball would agree that he is that. Two and two. Time granted by Jerry Lane. And there is strike 3 called on a fastball.
Think about the fastballs in this at bat. First one was middle in, next one was way in, and then he comes back with the final one right there on the corner. Jerry Lane with a good look at it. You're going to see a nice shot here right on that outside edge.
That's the other thing about Smiley. With all the pitches that he will present to hitters, he's around that zone. You don't see him miss his target across the plate, up or down. It's pretty much where Hannigan's going to set the mitt.
You know what the telling number is? You talk about a pitcher that's able to do that, velocity. He's not going to overwhelm you with velocity. And when you're not throwing 95, you had better put it where you want it, and that's what Drew Smiley does. And he does it with an assortment of pitches. You know, most of the guys you talk about command issues, and we're going to have one going to the mound for Boston today. They're stuff guys.
Yep.
They've got big-time stuff, a great arm, late life, good slider, velocity, just cannot harness it or haven't harnessed it yet. Smiley, a little bit different.
Pitch up and away to Cespedes. 2 balls and a strike.
You don't take 88, 89 miles an hour and run through the minor leagues and into the big leagues if you don't have command. That stuff doesn't get very high at all. Better be able to spot it up.
Take the count even at 2-2. Cespedes, as we've discussed throughout the series, has added a nice element to this Boston lineup, and he's been productive. Most of that with Boston and with Oakland came against right-handed pitching. Hitting .219 against lefties, and right there Smiley went for the called strike in and just missed.
Yeah, not a bad idea. 2-2 count. Cespedes, we've seen his swing and how aggressive it is. He wants to get those arms extended. That pitch is another inch or two over, and he's got it. We're going to go right back to it.
And he strikes him out. Smiley strikes out the side. Betts swinging, Holt looking, Cespedes swinging. No score, middle of the first. Left-hander Drew Smiley. And for your Southern Ford dealers, the starting lineup for the Rays. Vin Zobrist back at second, leading off. Will Myers, number 2, and then Matt Joyce, third in the order. Evan Longoria, James Loney, and David DeJesus back off the DL. He's the DH. Rays look for a little spark from his bat. You know, Myers, 7, 8, and 9.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Boston Red Sox, right-hander Ruby De La Rosa, and he is looking to get back to the form that the Rays saw him at the end of May the 31st. 7 shutout innings, no walks, 8 strikeouts.
Zobrist goes after the first pitch, hammers it into center, and Betts runs a nice line to make the catch there. Boy, it's a nice job by the young outfielder.
Yes, and you know what? From our perspective here, you can see his break. He started across and then just started to drift back ever so slightly. Comes across, okay, now curl it back. Perfect route, ends up right there, shoulder high catch.
Yeah, the Red Sox may have something special in him. It'll be interesting to watch him. Now Will Myers up here against De La Rosa. That's a strike. Ground ball headed toward the hole. Base hit into left for Myers. Will reaches.
All right, well, maybe now Will Myers can exhale. Was not in the lineup yesterday, had a tough run. You know that it was affecting him. And this pitch out over the plate, Myers pulls a hand through. He didn't catch it clean, but guess what? He put it in a good spot. It gets into the outfield. Base hit and a sigh of relief.
Yeah, he had one hit in the series prior to that. That was the infield hit here Friday night. So into left with a single. Here's Matt Joyce. That starts the day at 267. The first, and Myers back in. Shift is on for Boston defensively here against Matt Joyce. Put away, fastball, 1-0.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? The shift on, Bogarts is the only one on the left side, but the last pitch, look how close he's playing. The idea of maybe Matt Joyce trying to punch a bunt past De La Rosa, he's trying to take that away.
1-1 to count.
Boy, and he's looking in the dugout between every pitch to see now where do you want me to line him up, because these shifts, we've seen them become more prevalent, and we've seen them start to change in the midst of a count.
Yep. The pitch away. 2-1 right now. They have Middlebrooks, the third baseman, between first and second in this shift. Up the right side, down just short of the bullpen. The count goes to 2-2. Myers at first. 1 out, 2-2 on Joyce. Matt out on strikes. 2 gone.
Well, this is the one thing that De La Rosa can do because of the stuff. Got a good changeup, not afraid to use it with 2 strikes to go along with that good fastball. He's had 14 starts with the Red Sox coming into this one. His best may have been against the Rays, the way that he just took them apart in that start. 4 hits over 7 innings, no earned runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. That's how good he can be, although last 6 weeks or so really has struggled with consistency.
There was a fastball in the mid-90s past Longoria. Strike 1.
You break down his starts, 7-7. The first 7, 3-2, 2.64, and a 2.25 average against. His last 7, 1-3, 5.17, a 3.40 average against.
2 on the foul ball back. Coming off a no decision against Toronto on the road.
he's another, young starter that's going to get an opportunity here with the Red Sox as they look to put together a team that's going to be able to contend next year. Because Boston's not the type to rebuild. Always looking to be in contention.
High fly ball toward left center, and that's Betts making the catch in center. Rays get a hit, leave a man, and through one, we have no score. Score. Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in our broadcast later in the game. Brought to you by AT&T.
They were close.
Here's Mike Napoli. Pitch is a strike. Longoria takes care of the chopper down to third. That's the first out.
Let's take a look at the Rays defense as it lines up this afternoon.
Alan Craig has taken the first pitch for a strike.
Are we on?
Didn't miss by much. Depends on your definition of on. 1-1 strike, the count of Alan Craig. Out in front of that one. Well, Smiley, who struck out the side in the first, got Napoli on the chopper to third. Back into the screen.
And you saw that pitch right there, fastball up in the zone. The way that he struck out Yoenis Cespedes to end the first inning, that's something that we've seen new from Drew Smiley. Not only the ability to drive the ball downhill, but you've started to see him elevate the fastball from time to time with good results.
Yeah, and you know that puts him in his own way, in the same category that you see Odorizzi and Alex Cobb. Fly ball back into left. And Joyce is there on the track to make the catch. And so what that does, it gives the hitter a lot more ground to cover.
Oh, absolutely. You know, think about it. You got to cover the top of the zone, the bottom of the zone, and then all of a sudden a breaking ball that's going to cut right through it. And guess what? When he's able to pitch like that and everybody else is, this is your Toyota trend. Look at the Rays pitching in the month of August. It's been getting better as the year has gone on, and just look at these numbers.
So what's wrong with that graphic at the bottom? 13 and 16 in August with that kind of pitching.
6 shutouts.
Yeah.
Almost half of your wins, you've had to shut out the other team.
Yep.
That's what is the most disconcerting, is that this staff and the numbers that they've put up consistently as the season has gone on, and it's just not translated into the kind of wins you would expect with those numbers.
It's been such a strange year, and those numbers are just part of it. We've talked about the defense. We've seen great plays. We've seen plays that are right there to be made. It's simple as almost as picking the ball up with the glove, and they're not made. And then you get great pitching like that. Now you're under 500 during that same stretch in the month. It's been just an unbelievable season of ups and downs that way. Really, in so many ways, you try to make sense of it, try to analyze it. In so many ways, it defies analysis.
It is. It truly is an outlier type of season. And there's nothing much more to be said, because you're right. To break it down would take far too long.
Zobrist to his left and takes care of that. Nava's out at first, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning. Bottom of the second coming, no score. Season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports and Fox Sports Florida. James Loney will open the home half of the inning for the Rays. Loney, DeJesus, and then Escobar. Ruby De La Rosa's first pitch is upstairs. De La Rosa, 25 years old. In fact, these guys were involved in that Boston Dodger trade in October of 2012. And De La Rosa came to the Red Sox a little later, but he was part of that deal. Back into the screen. Now 1-2.
Now, traditional offerings by De La Rosa. The fastball, we've seen that. We've seen the good changeup. Slider, curve. Likes that changeup, though, with 2 strikes, especially against the left-handed hitters. We saw it with Joyce. Will we see it again here?
Chop. Foul ball. And change speeds.
That may have been a little backdoor slider at 88. Tough to tell. Hey, that's the other thing with Drew Smyly. Tough to tell with that cutter
sure
and
is.
changeup.
I mean, you'll see that cutter in the dirt.
Acts just like a changeup, straight down.
Hot shot up the right side, and that one's skipping right over the bullpen bench and in and out of the bullpen area.
You know what? Watch your lips down there. There's been a couple balls that have been scalded.
Yeah, in that section, and then opposite third base side, you've got to be heads up. Now it's a 2-2 count.
Well, you wonder with all these line drives that get knocked into the stands, how more people don't get drilled. Really.
It into center field, and Betts makes the catch.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Boston defense, and this time we will try to make it through. Actually, last time we didn't even get it started, so let's start here. Outfield, left to right, Yoenis Cespedes, Mookie Betts, and Daniel Nava. Across the infield, third to first, Will Middlebrooks, Xander Bogaerts, Brock Holt, and Alan Craig. Christian Vasquez will be behind the plate.
Well, we actually proved last inning. People who think that yawns are contagious, well, I don't know about that, but giggles apparently are. And it was giggles all around in the booth for almost no reason. It just occurred.
Well, and I had started to recover as the defense was thrown up, and I saw your shoulders hunch, and that was it. It was how fast can I get to the cough button. That was good. That was a great ab workout, I'll tell you that much.
Just giggles all around for whatever reason. 2-0 the count on David DeJesus. Good to see David DeJesus back active in a Rays uniform.
Ran into him in the tunnel this morning, and he said feels like opening day all over again. Excited, giddy. He's always excited, but he said that's exactly the first words out of his mouth. You better believe he's happy to be back out there. Hopes to be productive here the last month.
Well, he's a veteran hitter, and we talked about some of the missing elements. The Rays have had such great pitching. Here's a veteran at bat that if he's in that lineup, you pretty much know what you're going to get.
That's right. That's he will battle you. He will extend at bats. He's very good at doing that.
And in that way, he helps not only with what he produces, but more pitches seen, better it is for the entire lineup.
No question.
It's out of play. So back off the DL. He missed 64 games. The fracture on a check swing. He fractured his left hand. It was back in the middle of June. In the typical style, he works a full count here in his first at bat back.
And De La Rosa not happy with that call by Jerry Lane. That looked like a changeup that he just yanked across the plate. Still was close on the inside corner. This is why you got to be able to regroup and execute.
It's a hot shot foul beyond the bullpen mound. De La Rosa originally signed by the Dodgers out of the Dominican Republic. Gone to a number of the tryout camps that teams have there. This is Holt at second. making the play. And at the time when he was attending those tryout camps, he weighed about 130 pounds. And scouts didn't think he was nearly big enough to really attract much attention. But he kept at it. In fact, there's a Pedro Martinez connection with him. And prior to spring training this past offseason, he spent a lot of time with the former Red Sox great, Pedro Martinez. The connection actually precedes that as Escobar steps in. One and 0. When Pedro Martinez was a child growing up, De La Rosa's grandmother was a nanny to Pedro Martinez.
Come on.
Yeah, he'll chop down to Middlebrooks and the throw to first in time. So it's a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the second inning. We go to the third. No score. Takes center field Sunday, September 7th, when the Rays take on the Orioles. Concert is free with that game's ticket. The first 20,000 fans Sunday receive a solar-powered waving DJ kitty presented by Chick-fil-A. Visit RaysBaseball.com. Will Middlebrooks, the third baseman, leads off. First pitch is a ball. Middlebrooks, Bogaerts, and then Vasquez. 1-1.
Well, there's that fastball, Drew Smyly, top to bottom. He, like you said earlier, he gives you so much to think about and consider in an at-bat.
And when you think about how quickly he works and all he has to throw at you, why not work quickly and go about his business? He knows what he wants to do as soon as he gets the ball back. Actually, probably before he gets the ball back from the catcher, he knows where he wants to go next. Why not? Then just do it.
I think most pitchers do. I don't know why you take that long, because when you have as much to offer a hitter as Drew Smyly, you don't allow him time to organize his thoughts. Yeah. He's right back under fire, has to get right back into that batter's box, and here we come.
It's sort of a pitcher's version of a full court press in basketball.
Yeah, or these college football air raid offenses.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Put Myers toward the line, and he's got it to the out in foul territory.
When you dictate the action, or have the ability to dictate the action, why not set the pace too? An uncomfortable pace. And hitters don't like to be rushed any more than anybody else. I mean, they want to take their time, think about what they're going to do, dig in, do the batting gloves, stand up there and go, let's go. I'm ready to pitch.
And if you get pitchers to do that, and then just make a rule that prevents re-velcroing your batting gloves every 5 seconds, then I think you're onto something.
Maybe we could come up with a spray-on batting glove that you can't adjust. It's tight and it's going to stay that way.
Yep.
Because that gets a little cumbersome.
One ball, one strike. So we've got the batting gloves issue to address and resolve that. Get every pitcher to work as quickly as Drew Smyly. And then we had Todd talking with Hunter Wendelstedt on the replay reviews this year, and it's as Hunter mentioned, it's a work in progress, but the umpires apparently pretty well satisfied with that. They've been on board. 2-2, they respect the idea of what it's trying to accomplish. And at the end of the day, umpires are making the call even on the reviews up in New York. So I think they're fine with that. It's some fine-tuning that probably should be and will be addressed. And one of them is to get to the review somehow quicker than we have, and maybe to let fans know via the PA what exactly is going on. There's strike 3 call to Bogarts. Boy, Smyly just right on point.
Yep. Drive it downhill to a great spot. Kneecap high. That is just gorgeous. I would ask that ball out, that pitch out. Was that pretty?
That'd be charming. How about that? Follow up with a little breaking ball.
Yeah, and just one after the other. Cutter, fastball in, fastball elevated. Cutter to both sides. Occasional changeup. I mean, we could go on and on because that's how he just continues to mix and match. And that's the other thing, too. He's riding a high confidence wave right now. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, he's been throwing the ball great since coming over and settling in to the Rays rotation. And so when he takes the mound right now, he feels like, listen, I've got to take this job serious and continue to execute. But if I do that, you're not going to hit me. And there's that fastball up. I mean, you think about the one down to Bogarts to end that at bat, and then the one there.
And you think about just the 3 pitches he's thrown here to Vasquez. I mean, Vasquez, he's looking all over that strike zone.
Yeah. Yes, you've got to cover a lot. That's right.
2-2.
And we haven't even really talked about how good the curveball is. It's not just a curveball. It's a really good curveball. It has no hump in it. It comes out same plane as the heater. And he's able to spin it tight.
Two gone in the 3rd inning. Base is empty. Misses inside with a fastball. So he has a full count.
Last time he was in this situation, we saw him double up. He went in 2-2. That was on Cespedes. Missed. Came right back 3-2. Had some elevation. Inner 3rd. And he got the punch out. We'll go away here.
And it's fouled right back. Came back with the fastball. You know, four-game series tend to be a little long, but it's been kind of interesting to watch some of these Boston players. Betts one of them. You get a good long look at him.
Yeah.
And Vasquez, he's only hitting .218, but he has some competitive at-bats up there.
Yeah. And defensively, he's outstanding.
Yep. And
right there.
He is the first base runner. 8 in a row, retired by Smyly before Vasquez reaches.
Center fielder, number 50, Mookie Betts.
Betts struck out swinging his first time. It's only the 8th walk given up in almost 39 innings for Smiley since coming to the Rays. This is to Betts, 1-0. Down 2-0. That's laying off these first 2 pitches.
That'll be interesting to see the adjustments that the Boston lineup makes second time through here on Drew Smiley. So far, Betts gets a count working in his favor.
Lines it into left center field. Fastball driven toward the gap. Vasquez hitting third. He will score on the double by Betts. And Boston takes a 1-0 lead.
The 2 guys that you just mentioned, Vasquez with an extended at-bat, does a good job in working a 2-out walk, and then Mookie Betts in a 2-0 count gets a fastball out over. And I'll tell you what, we've seen him hit some balls hard in this series, and none harder than that, because if you're able to split the defenders and get it to the fence with 2 outs and Vasquez running on contact, he's going to be able to make it. No one able to cut that ball off.
9th run batted in for Betts on the 2-base hit. Now Smiley works with a runner in scoring position. 2 gone, and Brock Holt at the plate, which is a strike. Holt was called out on strikes his first time. Two. With 2 outs, the Red Sox have turned the walk into a run. Smiley trying to limit the damage, and he does on the fly ball into left. Joyce is there to make the 3rd out. Catching that ball. A run on 1 hit, 1 left. Bottom of the 3rd coming, 1-0 Boston.
back in action for the Rays. His first at bat is the DH. 4 different guys are called up. Additions to the Rays roster for September call-ups. Kirk Casale is back, so now the Rays will have some flexibility in terms of catching position and maneuverability within a game. Casale will get some starts, obviously, as well. We saw him earlier this year. Brandon Gomes we saw earlier this year. Gomes pitched really well since going back to AAA Durham and working with Neil Allen over his last 8 games or so. And then the new guy we have not yet seen in a Rays uniform, Steve Geltz, a member of the Rays bullpen, just joining the team today as well. So 4 new guys for the Rays, 2 of them in the bullpen, guys.
All righty, some of the new faces here with September. Ryan Hannigan, and he lines one over the head of Holt, trying to time his leap just out of his reach, and Hannigan is aboard to start the home half of the 3rd.
Well, leadoff runner is always important, especially when you're looking to answer here the Boston Red Sox. And Hannigan able to scoop that ball and get it right over the jump of Brock Holt. And there you go. Base hit number 2 for the Rays.
There's Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier out of the leadoff spot yesterday. Had a hit back in the number 9 spot in today's game, and the pitch is a strike around the knees. To the count here on Kiermaier. Out of play the other way. Hannigan, the second base runner for the Rays in this game as we play in the bottom of the 3rd. Kiermaier is out on strikes. No chance on that one.
No. And that was an emergency hack there by Kevin on a nasty mid-90s heater.
Wow. It was clocked at 96. With movement away from Kiermaier.
Yeah, and that swing tells you that he either didn't see it, didn't pick it up, or was looking for something off speed. Because that was one of those, uh-oh, I better get it going, and it was a little bit tardy.
Here's Ben Zobrist. Hit the ball well his first time, line to center. Betts made the catch. Out in front over this one for a strike.
You know, we've seen De La Rosa here. He's another guy. When you look at his run of his last 7 starts and the numbers, they don't match up with the stuff. Seen that fastball anywhere from 95 to 97. The changeup has been very good. Just saw one there. Breaking balls. A lot to like about De La Rosa's arm and his stuff.
Little tapper, third base side, backhanded, and no play. Middlebrooks reaching to backhand it, and by the time he was looking around, there was no place to go with it. An infield hit for Zobrist.
Well, that's frustrating, but it looks like Ben right here almost doing that on purpose, just slapping that ball that's away from him, knowing that he's got some room over there to work with. And Middlebrooks, there's just no play for him. You see how they've kind of pulled him off the line. Not going to run that far and be able to do anything.
But De La Rosa has been a work in progress as a young pitcher in the Dodgers system, and then coming over in the deal to Boston from the Dodgers. Myers, the pitch is up and in to him. And while he was with the Dodgers, he did have Tommy John surgery in August of 2011. And a little more than a year later was involved in the trade that sent him to the Red Sox. Will singled his first time through the hole between short and third. Changeup in the upper 80s, consistently 87, 88. Ball, 2 strikes coming up with the fastball, and that one at 97.
Yeah, big time velocity, and you just wonder. See where that ball, where Vasquez wanted it away, it ended up middle of the plate up. This is the type of pitcher that maybe gets Will Myers going. I mean, his stuff is plus stuff, but the command out there. We know the teams have been tacking Will down and away, but is he going to be able to get it there? He left one out over, and Will victimized him in his first time up.
The right side, that's going to be a fair ball. Head into the corner. Hannigan will score. Zobrist will be stopped at third on the double by Myers. Rays have tied this game on the 2-base hit by Will Myers.
Well, that's an encouraging sign right there, too. Taking that pitch that's away from him and able to rifle it down the right field line. That's big because this is, look, going down and away. This is where they want to get him. Now, that stays middle, but still, head down, driving that ball into right field. That is encouraging and productive.
So the tying run has crossed the plate. 2 more men in scoring position on the 11th double of the year for Myers. And the hitter is Matt Joyce. That's a ball. Rays had 4 hits, no runs off De La Rosa, and he didn't walk anybody in the outing he had against them on the 31st of May up at Fenway Park. Rays have a run home in the 3rd and a chance for more in this game. Check swing and a chopper foul. Brooks making a quick throw to first, but that's a foul ball.
Yeah, and that's the correct way to do it. Don't assume. And that ball looked to be foul and pretty easily diagnosed by Middlebrooks, but he's not taking a chance. Make a play. Let the umpire call it foul. That's his job. You can see where this bounces. Already foul, but he's going to go ahead and try to make something happen.
Yeah, he's anxious to make a play after the inability to make one on the ball that Zobrist did. That's frustrating down there to make that stop, but no place to go with it.
And they have him playing in the same spot for Joyce, and almost victimized again. You're right.
1-2 the count on Matt. Out on strikes
again. Well, that changeup at 90. That's like Felix Hernandez territory as far as velocity on a changeup.
Trying to fire it up with the hard stuff, and even at 90, you're out in front.
Yeah, hard to be out in front on 90.
Yeah.
Just shows you how good and explosive the fastball is.
2 outs. Here's Evan Longoria. Pitch is down. 1 ball, no strikes. Went out to center field with that fly ball in the first. One and one. Longoria came into the game hitting .254. He's been over 300 for most of the year with runners in scoring position. Since the All-Star break has picked up the run production. Big opportunity here, and the count is now 2-1.
Yeah, these would be some meaningful RBIs. Tied up and give the Rays the lead. And that's what Evan said coming out of the All-Star break. I just want to have productive at-bats. Not a lot I'm going to do about some other numbers, but I can start to drive runners in, hit some home runs.
Yeah, if he could do that, the numbers, the average takes care of itself. Out in front there, and the count is 2-2.
Another good changeup, and we see De La Rosa, you know, he will throw it to righties and lefties. Just has a lot of stuff that if he's able to command it, he is a tough at bat. If he's not, you start to narrow down what he will throw and have a better chance for success.
The count remains 2-2. Look at James Loney. He is on deck. 2 outs. Longoria tries to prolong this inning in which the Rays have tied the game. Off the middle, there it is. Base hit into center. Off the fastball. Zobrist has scored. Myers will score. 3-1 Tampa Bay. Evan Longoria picking up RBIs 77 and 78.
We've seen more of this too, with 2 strikes on balls away up the middle the other way, and he just reaches out there and gets the barrel to it. There's so much velocity there, and that ball just shot up the middle. Brock Holt's going to give it the old college try, but it's hit too hard.
Rays back with 3 in their half of the third. James Loney in the batter's box. There's a first pitch strike. Loney had a 7-pitch at bat in the second inning. We've seen some pitches already from De La Rosa. Again in the third, fouls this one off his foot.
Yeah, boy, he got himself good, and that's exactly the reason that he has that pad down there around that ankle. Comes in good use.
Even with that pad, it hurts.
Yeah, and just think about if that's not there. There's no meat down there. That ankle bone, that shin is exposed.
Takes it into left. Cespedes is there, and the Rays send 7 men to the plate. They scored 3. We're headed into the fourth. The Rays lead 3-1. RBI by Will Myers got the base hit has given the Rays a 3-1 lead. In the fourth, it will be Yoenis Cespedes, followed by Mike Napoli, and then Alan Craig against Drew Smyly. And the changeup on the first pitch is a strike, big cut and a miss. Smyly had struck out Cespedes with a fastball in the first. He starts him with a changeup the next time up.
What's the other thing? Logging your sequences to each hitter as you move through a game. One of the challenges for a starting pitcher, and we talk about it often, is the ability to get the same guy out 3 or 4 times in a game. The better hitters, you've got to continue to rotate your sequences, and you may have a spot that you want to exploit, but you got to find different ways to get there sometimes. And so to be able to give guys different looks, and just that's what we talk about, keeping a hitter off balance. Just never sure. They can't dig in and expect anything.
A foul ball back on a big cut. That's about all that Cespedes takes would be big, powerful swings.
Yep, not much of a 2-strike approach, except maybe try to hit it farther. Same with this guy.
Napoli on deck. And Cespedes out on strikes. Got him with a cutter this time. Strikeout number 5. Let's check in with Kelly Nash right now. Kelly, what are you up to?
Thank you so much, Dwayne. I'm here with a couple of guys all the way from Scotland. Pete and Joe, here for the second straight season to support the Rays. Pete, how in the world did you guys fall in love with this team?
Pretty much, I'd never seen a game of baseball till about May last year. My wife suggested that we go watch the Rays whilst on holiday over here June last year, and you know, from that moment, we just fell in love with baseball, and in particular with the Rays. The day I got back from vacation, I subscribed to MLB TV, and, you know, it's just been a heck of a journey since then, you know. A big thanks to you, to Todd, to Dwayne, to BA. You know, it's really helped my my learning of baseball, so yeah, it's been amazing. Long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys were so thoughtful. Joe, I have to ask you, you complimented the surroundings here at Tropicana Field, the friendliness of the environment. How has your week been so far? You're taking in 6 games this week.
I mean, obviously, you know, as I was saying, we came over to the baseball. It's been fantastic. You know, the people here, so welcoming, so friendly, and we really are, the both of us, overwhelmed by the family experience here.
They told me off camera, guys, the first thing they do in the mornings is check MLB.com, see what the Rays did overnight, because as you know, most of our 7 o'clock games here start at midnight for you guys, right?
Indeed, yeah. It's, if I stayed up late to watch a game, I wouldn't get to work in the morning. So first thing I do is get on MLB.com to see what the score was from the previous night.
Pete and Joe, thank you so much for the time. We're leaving them, guys, with a couple of Kiermaier signed balls. They hadn't had anything signed so far just yet from the Rays.
All right, well, thank you for that. We appreciate the loyalty of Pete and Joe. And we could, as you mentioned, we could listen to them all day.
Oh, listen, the Scottish accent, it could be the best on the planet. I mean, really. And yeah, they're much appreciated.
2 to Napoli. He hits it a long way into deep left center, and that will carry out of here. Napoli hits his 17th home run of the year, and that's going to make it a 1-run ball game. Now 3-2.
Well, Mike Napoli, that's the one thing that he brings to the table, is the ability to hit the ball out each and every time he comes to the plate. Big time power. And he got the head out here, almost a little bit too far out in front, but that just shows you how strong he is. Just able to kind of scoop and lift that ball and flip it right out of here in left center, deep left center.
Napoli had never had a hit off Smyly. He'd gone 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts. 0 for 8, 4 strikeouts before connecting for that home run. Craig fouls one back. That's a strike. Third home run given up by Smyly since coming to the Rays. 2 of those by right-handed hitters.
Yeah, that's well up in the mid-30s in innings. Not bad at all ratio for Drew Smiley. Well, his numbers since coming over to the Rays, even right down to pitches per inning, so much more efficient. Everything has been great.
5 starts coming into this game with an earned run average of 1.5. Greg lifts it into right. It's Myers making the catch. 2 gone.
And by the way, Dwayne, before we get too late into this game, I want to give you an update on an old friend of ours. And this may go back a couple of years. But Chicharito he's now on loan with Real Madrid. He's moved full season loan.
Really?
Yeah. And you remember him?
Yeah. Wow.
First started to educate everybody on UEFA. And I saw that in the news. And I thought I'd give you a little update on Chicharito.
You know that the reach of Rays baseball, I mean, across the Atlantic. I mean, we have heard from Pete and Joe from Scotland. Hey, there's the dual autographs there by Kevin Kiermaier. It's great to have them with us for an extended stay on this homestand. But there's a Rays reach into the Netherlands and France and England, Scotland to be sure. Nava flies out to center and will go into the bottom of the 4th. Rays leading 3-2. She'll keep working it. You see, this is the bottom of the 4th coming. A couple more innings, and there'll be a lot of support there for the Rays rally.
Yep. Giving it the old try. Nothing like weekday baseball with no school. Perfect.
No school?
Yeah.
Go to the ballpark.
And these are the games that we typically, you go back to think about Memorial Day, some different days like that. We'll get the night game. And you're kind of the 4th of July.
Yeah.
No. Go play some baseball and then go enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy it more if you win.
David DeJesus with a 1-strike count takes this one wide. Middlebrooks well off the third base bag and in at third.
Right on the cut. Yeah, so you move him off, you put him in that shortstop slot where a guy may slap the ball, and then you play in like that to take away a potential bunt. Kind of a twofold defense there. And now a 1-2 count. Middlebrooks is now going to move back into a more traditional thinking that, obviously with 2 strikes, DeJesus will not bunt.
A foul ball back DeJesus grounded out to second his first time in an 8-pitch at bat. Down 1-2 here through 4 pitches of this one. It's upstairs, 2-2. Fouls this one away. 15th start here for the hard-throwing right-hander Ruby De La Rosa. He's gone 2-4 in 12 starts at Pawtucket with a .345 earned run mark. Came into this one at .381 in a Boston uniform this year. And that pitch close, and it's ball 3. And so for the second straight inning, second straight at bat, a full count and an extended at bat for DeJesus.
Yeah, and a long walk back here by De La Rosa. You saw when that was called ball 3, the shoulders kind of slump. He caught the ball, flipped it up in the air, not happy. You take that walk, you clear your mind, because now you got to make a pitch. And he did.
And that is strike 3 call. So he comes back to get DeJesus on strikes for the first out in the home half of the 4th.
He just split the strike zone right there with a good fastball.
I'll tell you, that was at 98. There's some getty up on this stuff, even down.
Yeah,
a lot of action.
He was ticked off. I mean, you could see it in his face, and even the way that he popped back up on the mound. And so the velocity, not surprising. The velocity with the movement you're talking about, exceptional.
Into the dirt. Ball, no strikes. Pitch breaking into the zone for a strike called after the first one he threw right into the dirt in the opposite batter's box. 2-1. Count square at 2-2. Rays have 3 runs, 5 hits off De La Rosa. He has not walked anyone. There's Ryan Hannigan on deck. Escobar with a tapper foul.
Well, the one thing that we know about De La Rosa is everything is hard. Outside of that curveball, the changeup's hard, the fastball's obviously hard, the slider, everything is in a small little range of velocity, except for that curveball that he can throw and just kind of flip in there in the low to mid 80s.
Ground ball to third. So for the second straight time, Escobar is out, third to first. Get Ryan Hannigan to the plate. Bring your favorite four-legged friend to watch the game. Dog Day at the Rays is Sunday when the Rays take on the Orioles. Purchase the special ticket package to get a seat for you and your best pal along with a dog item for just $30. You can also bring pet food for the Rays Wives Drive benefiting Pet Pal Animal Shelter. Visit raysbaseball.com/special events. Strike to Hannigan, a fastball. Yeah, he's consistently in that 96, 97, and occasionally a tick or two higher with his fastball.
You've seen the changeup anywhere from 88 to 90. Good enough offset, but that slider's right in that same range, and the curveball a little bit lower than that. But these hitters, I guarantee you, they're going up there with the idea of you got to get it started quick. off De La Rosa.
And Hannigan did not go. Well, we've seen the slider, that one at 85, so mid-80s with the slider, 87 to 90 with the changeup, fastball anywhere from 94, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2-2 here on Hannigan. Changeup is foul. Right side, foul ball, and that's Craig, the first baseman. So 1, 2, 3 go the Rays, and we head into the 5th inning. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Sons of Anarchy premiering Tuesday, September 9th, only on FX. Rays leading 3-2 as we go to the 5th. Smiley back to the mound, holding this 1-run lead. Will Middlebrooks leads off. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up for Boston. Smiley's first pitch is a strike. Smiley making his 6th start for the Rays, his 24th start overall, his 27th appearance. That's a strike, 0-2. So the Rays are at a point where they're starting to try to figure out just how many more starts Smiley will get in regard to the innings buildup.
Well, and the way that he's been able to pitch deep into games for the Rays, may not have many left.
He is out on strikes. Breaking ball in the dirt. Middlebrooks could not hold up. Strikeout number 6.
This pitch right here, breaking ball, starts out above the knees, and Middlebrooks just way too far, and a ball that bounces out in front of the plate. Not able to pick that ball up effectively.
Bogarts was called out on strikes. Pitch at the knees his first time up, but he's after the fastball fouling it away. Strike one to begin this sequence. The Rays have, as a matter of policy, believed in being very cautious, playing it safe. The number of innings that a pitcher accumulates from one season to the next. This went down toward the corner. It's going to drop. Backhanded by Joyce. And Bogarts is in at second with a double. Didn't hit it all that well. A little out in front, a breaking ball. But it's good for two bases.
Yeah, powerful swing, and you're right, didn't catch it clean, and you could hear it up here, the hollow sound of the bat as he gets it off the end. But because that swing had started, had a good head of steam behind it, and still able to pop that ball down there into the corner.
So 3 hits in this game for Boston. All 3 have been for extra bases. That's double. Napoli's home run, and now a double by Bogarts. He's in scoring position, and here's Christian Vasquez, who walked and scored with 2 outs in the third. And there goes Bogarts. Throw down to third. They got it. Bogarts cut down at third. Throw to the inside of the bag, and Longoria put the tag on it.
Yeah, credit this one to Evan Longoria. Ryan Hannigan gets rid of it quick, but it's not the most accurate throw, and Evan Longoria showing his athleticism down there at third, able to come off, make the catch, and get the tag down. Boy, right on the back of Bogarts, no question about it. That is not easy because Evan is moving towards the bag, then having to reach back away from it and tag at the same time. That is tremendous work.
11. A great job there for out number 2. Fly ball into right. Myers waiting to make the catch. Just like that, the Red Sox are finished in the top of the 5th with the Rays leading 3-2. Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By Blue Bell Ice Cream. And by Bert Smith Volkswagen, Tampa Bay's home of driving excitement. Visit BertSmithVW.com. Rays hold a 3-2 lead through the first 4.5 of this game. Kevin Kiermaier will open the bottom of the 5th inning against Ruby De La Rosa. Kiermaier, Zobrist, and Myers due up. Kiermaier jabs at the first pitch and misses. Strike one.
Drawing the attention of Will Middlebrooks down there at third base, who came charging in, racing in, looking to make a play. See where he's playing now, right at the cut. Well, that was a big half inning for the Rays after that double by Bogaerts. A 1-run game.
Yeah, and it turns out to be just a 9-pitch inning for Smiley, which helps as well. 2-1.
We were talking about, you know, his innings this year as opposed to last year and what the Rays may end up doing with him. How about the fact that in his career, 7 times he's gone 7 or more innings in a start, and it's been the last 4 with the Rays.
Yep, that's amazing.
He just had never done it. 3 times in his first, however it was, 37, 38 starts, and then he's done it 4 in a row.
And then these starts, the 4 starts you're talking about, he'd gone 3-0 with a 0.88 earned run average. 3-1, chopped through the right side, out of the reach of Holt. Kiermaier with a leadoff single, and the Rays have some speed aboard to begin the home half of inning 5.
Kiermaier just finds a home for this ball out into right field, rolls it over. Brock Holt. I'll tell you, the way that Kiermaier gets down the line too, you think that if Brock Holt, even if he comes up with that, is he going to be able to get up and make the throw in time? I say no.
Now it's the top of the order, Ben Zobrist. It's going to be a strike at the knees. Then reached on the infield hit. Single in the 3rd when the Rays scored all 3 of their runs. It's a good pitch right there. 0-2. For the Rays, here we are the first day of September. The Rays still trying to find that winning combination consistently at home that they've had throughout this great run of 6 years of winning baseball.
And it really, that's another one of those trends this year. Another aspect of this season that is just so hard to break down and figure out.
Yep. They're 4-6 in a long stretch here of games against the East. And so you'd hope that at home that could help them through that stretch. But they've lost 6 of their last 8 here and 9 of their last 13 at the Trop.
And this is all coming at a time where every game has been a must win. You've got to get it done. You know, there's no time left. They're running out of games, trying to come out of that deficit that they put themselves in earlier in the year. And you're right, just playing fine on the road, cannot get it done here at Tropicana Field.
Zobrist trying the left side again, and this time it's a foul ball. De La Rosa over 80 pitches here as he works to his 2nd hitter in the 5th inning. Off his foot. Well, you can see what the Red Sox are trying to do here with these young pitchers, and we've talked about them dealing away 4 starting pitchers here in the last few weeks. And you can see the raw ability, the arms that they have, and De La Rosa is one of them. It's a matter of developing them, and that can be an inexact science.
Absolutely. Well, and that's why these young pitchers are going to get an extended look here. They have already been, this is his 15th start. De La Rosa coming down through September.
Second base, Holt. Shortstop Bogarts one. Safe at first, says Hunter Wendelstedt. Kiermaier out, 4-6 at second. Zobrist alive at first on a fielder's choice as he beat the play at first.
Yeah, great hustle, because this right here off the bat, you're saying this is tailor-made. Hit hard enough, there's the flip. Bogarts is not able to get enough on that throw. Look at Kiermaier going wide to try to keep him from stepping into that throw. And look at Ben. Yes, sir.
That hustle rewarded with a safe call of Wendelstedt down there. So the Rays still have a base runner with one out. Will Myers, who had a big double up the right field line in the third to drive in a run. And is 2 for 2 today. Faces De La Rosa once again. Pitch is low and off the plate. That catches the zone. 1-1. His last time out, 4 2/3, 99 pitches. That was against the Blue Jays up in Toronto. Ground ball. This moves Bogarts to his right, out at second, and that's the only one they'll get again. No play at first on Myers, who's aboard on a fielder's choice. Bogarts had to move to his right to start that play.
Yep, and it wasn't hit that sharply. And Will Myers, as we know, gets down the line well. So their only hope was to get Ben Zobrist at second, which is exactly what they do.
Now the Rays will see what Matt Joyce can do against Ruby De La Rosa. Myers the runner at first, and 2 gone. It's a foul ball. The other point of frustration for the Rays, they got to 500. That's 61 wins and 16 losses. That was in the middle of August. And since then, they've lost 10 of 15. So they were positioned to maybe get over 500, and Joe Madden kept looking for that push to get them back. There's a nice job by Vasquez digging it out. 1-1, but the Rays have just not been able to consistently put something together that would allow them that run. And now, if you tuned in on the postgame the last couple of nights, you hear Joe Madden continue trying to fire up this club with whatever waning hope it would have.
2007 Rockies.
Yeah, he's trying to invoke the spirit of the Rockies most recently.
Well, that's just another aspect of this season being upside down. My thoughts were the struggle was going to be to get to 500. Once they got there, figured they're going to blow right by that at some point eventually. And boy, you're right. They hit that high water mark and have not seen it since.
Well, and we saw those numbers on the pitching in August. It's a high fly ball. Cespedes into foul territory, handles that. The Rays leave a man. We're through 5. It's 3-2 Rays over the Red Sox.
The sixth inning in our Chevy divisional storyline. We can break down the AL East further, guys. What you were talking about. Through June 6th, it was the Toronto Blue Jays who the Rays were chasing. 14 games back, 14 games under at that stage. Since then, the Rays have had the second best record in the AL East. The problem was, leading up to the trade deadline and beyond, the Orioles have been red hot. Look at that record, 49-27 since June 6th. The Rays will see the Blue Jays next, beginning tomorrow. And then Baltimore comes in town to wrap up this homestand. Back to you.
And you can see the way the Orioles have played. They've opened a 9-game lead over the Yankees. Baltimore right now riding a 4-game winning streak. They're home against the Twins, scoreless in the bottom of the 5th today in Baltimore. Here at the top of the order, Mookie Betts leads off and takes ball 1. Betts doubled home a run in the 3rd. And he sent a fastball into left center field and takes one upstairs. This time the count is 2-0. Well, the Rays get into that Toronto series that Todd mentioned. Jeremy Hellickson opens against R.A. Dickey. Will be tomorrow night. 2-1. Chris Archer pitches Wednesday, and Jake Odorizzi will be on the mound Thursday.
Smiley and Ryan Hannigan trying to get on the same page here in this 2-1 count. A 1-run game. Important pitch here.
That's a strike.
That's a gutsy pitch too.
Confident in that curveball.
Yep. The ability to throw it in there for a strike in a hitter's count, and then the ability to take it out of the zone when you want to. And it's all about confidence.
Fouled back. Drew Smiley, just 25 years old, born in Little Rock, Arkansas, went to school at the University of Arkansas. So he's a Razorback through and through, and has pitched with a calmness out there of a veteran, even though he's only 25. Right side foul. Loney might have a play and makes it. Boy, not an easy play either for James Loney, and a nice job to corral the first out.
And the reason for that is he's not able to get over there, feel for that wall. He's got to catch it on the way over there because it wasn't hit that high. And so that's when the brain starts to play tricks on you. You're concentrating on the ball, waiting to run into that low wall. You don't have the ability, you know, those high pop-ups, you make it over there, you set yourself up, and you make the catch. Those lower ones, you just got to sell out and hope that that ball gets in your glove before your legs clip that wall.
Brock Holt takes a pitch down. Holt 0 for 2. He came into this game hitting over 300 against left-handed pitching this year. 305. Fastball is too high, 2-0.
Well, that's why. That's what has allowed Brock Holt to be right up there at the top of that lineup for John Farrell, hitting leadoff against everybody. Can handle lefties like that. Should have pretty good at bats against righties, and you pencil that name in and run with it.
Well, he's ahead 3-0 in the count now. Smiley has given up one walk. That cost him a run. And he picks up the zone, 3-1.
The interesting thing, dynamic for Brock Holt is he comes to the field every day. He knows exactly where he's going to be in the lineup. Has no idea where he's going to be in the field.
And with Dustin Pedroia missing the last couple games, he's at second base. Pedroia saw Pedroia come to the ballpark in the parking lot today. He appeared to be fine, but the Red Sox are going to be very cautious with him. We heard after that collision at second, John Farrell say that there were some symptoms that would parallel some level of a concussion, but no official word on that yet.
walked in the parking lot, Joy.
Full count to Brock Holt. And there's ball 4 inside. Well, he fell behind him, came back full, now loses him. So the Red Sox with a runner. And Cespedes is on his way to the plate. Cold hard facts today brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Drew Smyly, only the 22nd starting pitcher the Rays have utilized since 2008. And that's 3 fewer than any other team in the major leagues. The Giants being the closest over the National League with 25.
Well, you talk about consistency, continuity. You know, and some of those guys, the 22, but a number of them have been traded away. So it's not even as if you've moved on, but they could still be here if you could have kept them. But boy, oh boy, they bring guys up one after the other, and they seemingly slide right in, and they're there for a long time.
Jim Hickey out there taking a little time with Smyly after the 1-out walk here in the 6th, and Brad Boxberger is up in the bullpen. Smyly just over 90 pitches on the day. By contrast, he made 87 in the 7 innings he worked against Baltimore the last time. 91 so far today.
Interesting to see who Joe Madden has up in the bullpen too, Brad Boxberger. You know, sometimes Joe says the inning that matters the most is not the 9th. Sometimes that you have to save that game in the 6th or the 7th to hope to get to the 9th. Brad Boxberger, one of his big guns up here. And watch for Brock Holt over there at first base. You saw the initial throw over.
First pitch, and Cespedes looks at the curveball. Smyly gets the count running in his favor.
A lot of action on the base paths with Smyly. Opposing base stealers 15 out of 23. He has 7 pickoffs. There's a lot going on, and you know Boston, 1 run down, wants to get a runner in the scoring position. Brock Holt 10 out of 12.
Pitch upstairs, a fastball. And that time Smyly appeared to be just a little quicker to the plate, by the way.
He did. He absolutely did. Well, that'll be one of those things that he starts to work on over time, trying to get especially being a left-handed starting pitcher. Those kind of stolen base numbers off you should just never happen. And that's something that, you know, being 25 years old and young, he'll continue to learn to refine his game, maybe incorporate a little bit of a slide step if his mechanics will allow it. Find different ways to try to control that. Because you have the advantage as a lefty. You're looking right over at that base runner.
Pitch is upstairs, 2-1. And you know the other side of that, and I'm sure you've heard it too. I've had good base stealers tell me that it's easier to steal a base off a left-hander than a right-hander because the base runner's looking right at the pitcher. Seems strange.
That's a complete falsehood. I mean, that's just something that base stealers are going to say. They should never be able to walk off on a lefty, because the lefty controls the action. Now, if you're a left-handed pitcher with a high leg kick, absolutely. You see that leg twitch and that base runner's off and running, you're never going to throw him out, and that could possibly be true. But as a lefty, you stare right into a guy's eyes. You force him to shorten the lead. You work on a pickoff move. That's the thing. You've got to have a good pickoff move. If you don't, you put yourself at risk. But I remember when I broke into the big leagues, my first pitching coach was Chuck Hernandez. And he said, if you're a left-handed starting pitcher in Major League Baseball without a good pickoff move, it's simply because you're lazy, period. And that staff had Mark Langston, who had one of the best you've ever seen. And so you go to work on it.
2-2 the count to Cespedes. And he strikes him out. He went up with a fastball. Strikes him out for the 3rd time today.
Boy, he's gone fastball up, strikeout, cutter down, strikeout, fastball up, strikeout. Boy, he has worked him over.
And here's Joe Madden coming out to make a move after the strikeout of Cespedes. Mike Napoli's due up, and Madden's going to go to the bullpen here. 2 outs into the 6th. Drew Smiley departs after 5 2/3. Gets a good hand, leading 3-2. .96 pitches. 5 2/3. See the line on him. He's responsible for a man on as he departs. Another good job by Smiley today. He gives way to Brad Boxberger.
Not a bad guy. If you're going to have to give way, not a bad choice right here as you see his numbers. Right down to the strikeout to walk ratio, the strikeout per innings pitched ratio. Dominant.
Napoli takes the first pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Napoli had homered back in the 4th off Smiley. The first hit ever, giving him 1 for 9 against Smiley. So Boxberger's in here in the 6th to face him. Two.
Strength on strength, 94. Napoli just cannot get there in time, and Boxberger has him in a perilous position.
Napoli 0 for 1 in his career against Boxberger. Takes one wide. 1 ball, 2 strikes. First appearance for Boxberger in this series. We go to 2-2. He worked an inning in the Baltimore series Wednesday. That was in relief of Smiley in a 3-1 Rays victory. He worked the 8th, and then McGee worked the 9th in that one. 2-2 count on the Boston DH. He's out on strikes. Fastball right by him at 94. Side retired in the 6th. No runs, a walk, and a man left. Bottom of inning 6 coming. 3-2 Rays. Today in the final game of the series between the Rays and the Red Sox. For those about to rock, be sure and get this bobblehead Rock Out with Longo Saturday the 6th during the 80s day at Tropicana Field. The Rays battle the Orioles. First 20,000 fans receive an Evan Longoria 80s hairband bobblehead. Evan leads off the bottom of the 6th, taking the first pitch inside off speed. Evans singled home 2 runs in the 3rd when the Rays scored all 3 of their runs off De La Rosa. Gives Evans 78 runs batted into Zawa, the righty, and Lane, the left-hander, Tommy Lane. And there's a long one. Whoa, but it's going to be foul.
Hey, get the head out, Evan. Knocked the guy down out there deep in left field on the concourse. Pin trading anyone?
I'm telling you. Three balls and a strike. And that's a line drive caught at 3rd by Middlebrooks.
Boy, having to pull the hands in to get to that pitch that was so quick took just enough steam off that ball that Middlebrooks was able to kind of lean down to his right and make the play.
Well, that's going to be it for De La Rosa. John Farrell's going to go to the bullpen with James Loney due. We'll be right back. We saw him for an inning in the game on Saturday. He's on to match up against James Loney. Lefty's hitting 154 off lane this year, and Loney is 0 for 2 today. All of that against De La Rosa, who pitches 5 1/3, allowing 3 runs, 6 hits. And the pitch hit on the ground, up the middle, diving stop. Bogarts throw to first, will be in time to get Loney. A fine play by Bogarts up the middle on the first pitch delivered by Lane.
Well, here it is. James Loney making a bid right over the mound, but Bogarts to his left. Now scramble throw, or just kind of flip that ball over there just in time.
That'll be David DeJesus. Just back off the DL. He had a couple of extended at-bats against De La Rosa, went 0 for 2. Takes the pitch away from the lefty Lane. One. The ball, 2 strikes. It's 2-2. Baltimore batting in the bottom of the 6th, trailing Minnesota 3-0. Chopper to the right side. Holt, the second baseman, makes the play, and the Rays are out 1-2-3. And we head into the 7th, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Balfour, one of just 28 Australians to ever play Major League Baseball. And in the next episode of Inside the Rays, Todd Callis takes you through the ups and downs of Grant's unlikely journey. Check out Inside the Rays Sunday following Rays Live. Brad Boxberger stays on after striking out Napoli to end the top of the 6th. On to work the 7th with Alan Craig, the first baseman, leading off. Craig, the former St. Louis Cardinal, 0 for 2 with a fly ball to left and a fly ball to right. Pitch outside, 1-0. Smiley worked the first 5 2/3, 96 pitches.
And I think that's ultimately what did him in, that pitch count, as they try to limit those innings for Drew Smiley. Was pitching very effectively again. Be interesting to see here, because you're not going to be able to close this game out with Boxberger, McGee. Someone else is going to have to get involved, and it'll be interesting to see with this 1-run lead how Joe Maddon plays the rest of this game with that bullpen that's well stocked now.
Two and two. Change up, had Craig out in front. Count runs full. Well, a couple of matchups between Boxberger and Craig from their National League days. Boxberger with the Padres and Craig with the Cardinals. Alan Craig 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And he walks this time.
That was a very impressive take there by Craig on a full count changeup, and he just let that dip out of the zone and then take his stroll down to first base. Not exactly how you wanted this inning to start. You see, there it is. Boy, that's an enticing pitch to swing at. Craig wanted no part of it. Good read.
Well, he may have reflected back on those 2 at-bats he had against Boxberger in the National League there, when he struck out each time up. So here's Daniel Nava. I don't know if he did. That's really cataloging at bats.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, listen, it's not like he's going to forget Boxberger. You know a guy. You may not remember all the guys that you know you're going to face, but when a guy 2 at bats against, they're both strikeouts, you log that down. You'll remember that. And obviously an important member of this Rays bullpen, which these hitters will be well versed in. Right now struggling a little bit with command. He's yanked a couple of fastballs, missed with that changeup.
2-0 here to Nava. Back with a fastball, 2-1. Back to even now, 2-2.
These guys, these hitters, we've seen it over the course of the season. They just get caught in between. They swing at the 2-1 fastball, or excuse me, the 2-0 fastball to get to 2-1, and then he pumps another one almost in the same spot. Just take it for 2-2, and now you open everything right back up. Change up, fastball. What's it going to be? Where's it going to be?
Fastball in on him a bit. He fouls it away. It's Middlebrooks on deck. The Red Sox third baseman. Out on strikes, reaching for a fastball. Second strikeout for Boxberger on the heels of 7 for Drew Smyly.
Takes this one off the plate, and Nava follows him.
Well, Middlebrooks, nothing of 2. Lifts it into short center, and in comes Kiermaier. 2 gone. So Middlebrooks gone on 1 pitch. In Atlanta, the Phillies are batting in the top of the 7th inning. They lead 2-0, and Cole Hamels, pitching for the Phillies today, has a no-hitter going through 6 innings against the Braves, but he has walked 5 and has made 108 pitches.
I don't think you're going to be able to see that one through. Not with 108 now.
Yeah, just through 6. Bogarts fouls it back. You saw Beliveau loosing in the Rays bullpen a moment ago. There's Jeff Beliveau. Alan Craig, who walked, is the runner at first. He opened the inning with the base on balls. Boxberger has struck out Nava. He got Middlebrooks on a pop fly to short center. And a strike to count on Bogarts. And a toss over to first. Well, if they are to get that no-hitter in Atlanta, it's going to have to be a combination no-hitter. They've just lifted Hamels for a pinch hitter after 108 pitches and 6 innings of no-hit baseball. Strike 2. Bogarts down in the count. Bogarts doubled in the 5th inning off Smyly and was caught trying to steal third for the second out of that inning. Got to play the other way.
Tough spot for a hitter to be in against Boxberger, and you can see Bogarts just trying to stay alive. Put the ball in play, give yourself a chance, just punch that foul.
Strike pitch. He got him. Struck him out. Had him out in front. 10 strikeouts for Rays pitching at 7th inning stretch time. 3-2 Tampa Bay. taking their 7th inning stretch here with the Rays leading 3-2. Evan Longoria driving in a couple of runs in a 3-run third. Drew Smyly 2 outs into the 6th inning. 2 runs, 3 hits allowed. He is the pitcher of record. So the Rays hold a 1-run lead coming into bat in the bottom of the 7th. A new pitcher, the right-hander Junichi Tazawa. It's his 64th appearance on to face Yunel Escobar to open the home half of the 7th inning. Curveball is too low. The ball, no strikes.
Tazawa, another one of those late inning relievers that is more than a 2-pitch guy. You're going to see a lot of different offerings from Tazawa. He's got a good arm, good fastball, firm. Saw the breaking ball, split.
There's the fastball. That went in around 92. Rays got all 3 of their runs off Ruby De La Rosa in 5 1/3 innings. Tommy Lane worked 2/3. 2-1. Time the Rays have seen Tazawa in this series. Takes the count to 2-2 on the big cut by Escobar and a foul ball. Disrupting Vasquez and Jerry Lane behind the plate.
The Rays have had success against Tazawa this year. He's been in for 5 2/3 innings. The Rays with 4 earned runs off of him. 3 of those coming in 1 outing. That was back at the end of July.
High ball. Mets closing, but Nava, the right fielder over there in right center field, grabs it. 1 away here in the 7th inning. Our Chevron pitching matchup tomorrow. Brand new series, brand new club in the Toronto Blue Jays and the Rays. Jeremy Hellickson will open that against R.A. Dickey. We'll be with you tomorrow night at 6:30 to begin our coverage, leading up to the first pitch at 7:10.
And the Rays have had some good games off of R.A. Dickey. The knuckleballer will be in town. Jeremy Hellickson getting another opportunity. You saw his ERA, very good.
Brian Hannigan. Hannigan singled and scored in the 3-run third. Fouled out to first in the 4th inning. Hannigan with a couple stints on the disabled list this year. Overall average right now at 219. He's at close to 270 at home, 268 here at the Trop this year coming into this game. And he is 1 for 2 this afternoon. Follows the curveball outside, 2-1. Orioles-Twins game. Minnesota scored 3 in the top of the 6th. Joe Mauer, a two-run triple, keyed that 3-run 6th inning. But in the bottom of the 7th, Nick Hundley has hit a 3-run home run to tie that game. Shot back into deep center. Betts will go back though and make the catch, and Hannigan is the second out.
Well, you watch Mookie Betts, the way that he goes after balls out in center field, and you realize that if you're going to burn him, you're going to have to drill one. If it's got any loft to it, he's going to get there. He moves so well. This ball hit hard. He just kind of glides over and is waiting on it by the time it comes down. That was pretty standard fare, but you assume a guy drilling one to the wall with his, his breaks and jumps and speed.
Yeah, he's definitely caught our eyes here in this series.
That's like the Brock Holt, the first time we saw him. Way back when. Kind of walk away and say, keep your eye on that kid.
Holt's played all over the place, and Betts seems very comfortable out there in center field. Put him out there and leave him alone.
Yeah, well, and they're still searching. You talked about Jackie Bradley Jr., a disappointing season for him. That opens up the door for a guy like Mookie Betts to get an opportunity out there. Tremendous athlete. Can play all over the place. You just like the idea of the coverage that he can give you out there.
Yeah, he'll help a pitching staff, that's for sure. Two strikes, the count to Kiermaier. Now a ball, 2 strikes.
Well, that pitch really doesn't do a whole lot of good for Tazawa. I think what he's trying to do, you want an 0-2 elevated heater, but make it competitive, and then you can throw that split right off of that. Change eye levels. They may be doing that anyway. No, breaking ball.
Little tapper charged by Bogaerts, a double pump, and he still gets Kiermaier. Had just a little trouble getting a handle on that ball, but he makes the play, and we go to the 8th. 3-2 Rays. Support your Rays Friday as they take on the Orioles and receive a Kevin Kiermaier Outlaw t-shirt with the purchase of a Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Jeff Beliveau on, and look at the bullpen's work so far in this series. 11 innings, 1 earned run, 16 strikeouts, just 4 hits. Beliveau's on here to start the 8th. So Boxberger worked an inning and a third. Picked up 3 strikeouts and walked 1 man. First pitch, Vasquez pops it into shallow right. Zobrist out to make the call and the catch. So 1 pitch and 1 away.
Well, that is quite the way to come into a game. You got to love that if you're Jeff Beliveau. And we've seen some really good things out of Jeff. His ability from the left side without the huge velocity numbers, but the ability to move the fastball around, kind of shoot it up in the zone, work a breaking ball off of that. More than a strikeout an inning on the season, you see right there.
And Betts. Takes a strike. Both bullpens busy. Steve Geltz and Jake McGee. It's 1-1. And that's Edward Mujica in the bullpen for Boston. 1-1 to count to Mookie Betts. Foul ball outside of third, 1-2. The 3 strikeouts for Boxberger, by the way, and an inning and a third. Gives him 92 for the year, and that ties a club record for a reliever, matching J.P. Howell in 2008. Who had 92 strikeouts. Boxberger 92 strikeouts in 58 and a third innings, averaging 14.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. Out of play the other way, and it's still a ball, 2 strikes. Holding a 1-run lead. 1 out of the 8th. Liner into left, and that's in there for a base hit. Breaking ball, and Betts is aboard for the 2nd time.
Yeah, and this is the guy you don't want on base. The base stealing ability, the speed, but the adjustments made during that at bat to finally get a curveball that was out over the plate and up just a little bit. Well, that was a nice job and a nice at-bat by Betts, and he takes advantage here. Okay, finally got one I can handle. I'll just stay short and quick to the baseball. We've seen him do that all series long.
Now the hitter is Brock Holt. A strike. Holt walked in the 6th, hitting over 300 on the year against lefties coming into this game. The 0 for 2 today, 287 for the season. It's going to be ball 1, a little bit outside. 1-1.
See how Beliveau would be tough for lefties. The way that he's got that lower arm angle that can be deceiving. He's got a little crossfire, the way that he can shoot that ball to the outside corner. He can elevate against him, and he can come with that breaking ball. Forces you to look all over the zone, much like Drew Smyly.
play the other way, foul.
Some of these guys, they come in out of the bullpen and they're married to one side of the plate or one area of the strike zone.
Eighth inning of a one-run ball game. Little tap. Beliveau will go to first base. He looked at second. Betts moves in there, and Holt is out number 2.
Just being a little bit cautious there. Does not want to make a big mistake with the lead runner. You know the speed of Betts. That's the only thing that gives you pause. You know that he can get going. He may have been able to get him, but not willing to take the risk, take the out at first base. And Joe Madden makes a move.
So that's going to be it for Beliveau. Betts at second base. Leonis Cespedes is due up, and Steve Geltz just up from Durham, where he made 29 appearances, was 3-3 this year, with a .238 earned run average.
Yeah, and look at the strikeouts to walks, or excuse me, strikeouts to innings, 60 and 41 and 2/3. Tremendous numbers in Durham, in a tough spot here. Going to go up against Cespedes, runner in scoring position in a one-run game. Welcome.
Well, Gelt's 26 years old. The Rays got him in a deal for Dane De La Rosa. He made a couple of appearances in the big leagues for the Angels, both in relief and both against the Rays. And now in here making his debut as a Ray. First pitch outside to Cespedes. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, Cespedes looking still to put the ball in play in this game. 3 strikeouts. I'll tell you what, Drew Smiley pitched him tough all afternoon.
(2-0) off speed. Geltz made those appearances for the Angels in 2012. 2 games against the Rays. Betts on second. Cespedes pops it up foul. That will carry out a play. Got a fastball in there around 93. And it's a 2-1 count. big spot just up from Durham. He just missed with that one. Slider. He's one.
Yeah, not going to give in here. Cespedes, you don't want, 2-1 count, not just going to keep pumping fastballs in there, especially with the runner in scoring position. So tries to entice him with that slider, and that doesn't work. Now you put yourself in a hole, and we'll see how serious they are about going after Cespedes.
Napoli is on deck. 3-1 to Cespedes, and a strike. Picks up the call right there. Close pitch here. Let's see.
Yeah, and I think Cespedes thought that he had a boy. You don't see that usually. And guys just coming up, veteran hitter. That pitch was well off the plate, not well, but far enough off. That gives him a chance here to get him.
3-2, and a base hit into left. Joyce with the pickup. No play at the plate. Betts scores. And it's a 3-3 ball game. Cespedes drives in the tying run. That's his 90th run batted in of the year.
Well, and the gamble does not pay off. We were talking earlier about how Joe Madden was going to try to piece together the end of this game. He elects to go with Geltz in this situation, and he saw a number of sliders, and Cespedes able to finally get the head out on one that stayed up a little bit, find a hole, and no way you got a chance to get Betts the way he runs.
The hitter is Napoli. It's outside. Fastball to start him. Napoli missed the fastball. 1-1. Now move to first. Cespedes back in. Upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Cut again. Fastball. Napoli a couple of going for the downs cuts here, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, and 92, and he was late. Got a big swing. Didn't get it started in time, and now Geltz has the chance to work his way out of this inning.
Move to first. Cespedes close to the bag. Big Adams struck him out. 93 on the fastball, throws it by Napoli. Top of the 8th is over.
RBI single for Boston. The Rays start a 3-game series against the Blue Jays tomorrow. We'll see you at 6:30 for Rays Live, the pregame show driven by our Gulf Coast Honda dealers. You'll hear from Jeremy Hellickson before he makes a start, going up against R.A. Dickey. And tonight, of course, stick with us for the postgame show presented by Checkers. Todd Narestis will be hosting with insight from Dwayne and B.A., and I'll be in the clubhouse where you'll hear from Martin, Smiley, and others.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly. Here we go into the bottom of the 8th with the top of the order leading off for the Rays. Vince Zobrist takes a changeup from Edward Mujica. Mujica, the 4th pitcher, on to start the 8th. 1-0 the count to Ben. 1-1. Zawa worked 1 perfect inning. Lane 2/3 of an inning. De La Rosa 5 1/3 in his start. 1-2. Mujica pitched the 9th inning in Friday's game, and the Rays got a run off him. Tapper foul outside of first.
It's been a disappointing season for Mujica compared to what he did last year. St. Louis Cardinals stepped into the closer's role. Successful 37 out of 41 attempts. An ERA of 2.78. A little bit of a different story this year.
Breslow, the left-hander. Just enough of that one to stay alive on the foul ball.
Fastball, breaking ball, split. Ben Zobrist trying to stay alive.
That takes care of Zobrist. Some depth to that pitch as he was out in front and over it.
Well, he threw them 3, and they just got better and better and better. Fouled the one off down the first base line, barely got a piece of the second one, and then this one just bottoms out and Ben right over the top of it. 3 really good pitches by Mujica.
Myers takes a strike. Will doubled in a run in the 3rd. He is 2 for 3 for the day. Fouls it back, 0-2.
Well, you see Mujica, the veteran, better command. Look where he's going. Saw Ruby De La Rosa trying to get out there, but leaving some pitches out over the plate for Will Myers. Did do a nice job of driving the ball up the right field line.
One and two. Into left center. The Rays have a base runner in the 8th. 3rd hit of the day for Will Myers.
And Mujica, after all those tremendous off-speed pitches to Ben Zobrist and picking up a strikeout, hangs one here. This one stays up, and that allows Will to get to it in a timely manner and hit it hard. Get it just out of the reach there of Bogaerts. Score a run, sometimes you got to start small. Single here is a start.
There's Matt Joyce. Ball one. Seems shortened there. The shift on for him. Bogart's the lone man on the left side of the infield. The ball 2-0. Breslow has company in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Breslow a lefty, and they get a right-hander. Bert Badenhop is throwing now. Joyce fouls one back, 2-1. Rays saw the Red Sox tie the game with a run in the top of the inning. It's going to be strike two around the knees. The chop. This is Bogart's second base one, and that's the only one they get. Holt taking the toss, so Joyce reaches on a fielder's choice. 2 outs with a man on. Will Myers forced at second.
Well, the chop right here took out any thoughts of a double play, and now it's a race to get Myers at second, who was hustling to try to get there and beat that throw. Not able to do it.
Evan drove in 2 of the 3 runs with a single in the third. First pitch away and down off speed, 1-0. One and one while the Rays play here in the bottom of the 8th. Phillies still had that combination no-hitter going through 8 innings. Snap throw to first, and back in is Matt Joyce as the count goes to 2-1.
Well, he's getting an aggressive secondary lead, thinking potential here for a ball in the gap, try to score from first. We've seen it already in this ball game.
He fouls it back, a cut at the fastball. It's 2-2. Hamels pitched the first 6. Jake Diekman in the 7th. Ken Giles in the 8th. Phillies batting in the 9th, leading Atlanta 5-0, and the Braves do not have a hit. Two, Tapper foul. Rays got all 3 of their runs off Ruby De La Rosa. They came in the 3rd. They've only stranded 3. Not many base runners today. And Longoria is out on strikes, reaching for the off-speed pitch. Rays leave a man here in the 8th. We go to the 9th, tied at 3. And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Jake McGee on in the ninth. Follows Smiley, Boxberger, Beliveau, and Geltz.
Well, Joe Madden looking to go to Jake McGee here in the ninth inning with a 1-run lead. That is not to be. So now you come on and look to hold serve and win it in your last at-bats.
Alan Craig, 0 for 2 with a walk, leads off the ninth against Jake. First pitch skied to right. It's caught by Myers on the move. 1 pitch, 1 out. McGee closed out the game Wednesday in Baltimore. Was a win for Smiley. Smiley, Boxberger, and McGee in that game. First pitch to Daniel Nava is a strike. Nava nothing of 3, ground ball, fly ball, and a strikeout. Jake just misses off the corner with the fastball at 95. One and two. McGee, there's Will Middlebrooks on deck. Fastball fouled back, still 1 and 2. Red Sox led 1-0 in the top of the third. Ray scored 3 in the bottom of the third. Boston got a run in the fourth. They scored the tying run in the eighth. We're now in the ninth, 3-3. Rays down 2-1 in a 4-game series, trying to earn a split. Nava fouls this one out of play. 2, chopped to third, foul. So Nava extending this at bat. Next pitch will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. You got Craig on one pitch on a fly ball to right.
Well, the one thing that a hitter goes up to the plate against Jake McGee and is pretty sure of is here comes the fastball. And that's what these hitters are doing, trying to put it into play with authority, not often done against Jake McGee. And at this point for Nava, just like you said, trying to stay alive, find a hole somewhere.
Ground ball chopped to third. Longoria, routine fashion. Nava's out. Fly ball and a ground ball. 2 up, 2 down. Will Middlebrooks, who's 0 for 3 today, will now hit.
Third baseman, number 16,
Middlebrooks 0 for 3 today. 190 on the year with a couple of home runs. And 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts against Jake McGee. And boy, he had a big cut there on that opening fastball. He was thinking one thing.
Yep. I mean, that's what Will Middlebrooks is going to do here. Nobody on base. You're going to see fastballs, and he's just going to turn it loose.
One high foul out of play. So 2 strikes. A couple of fastballs in the mid-90s. Breslow and Uehara in the bullpen for Boston. We're in the top of the 9th. Tied 3-3. And a foul right back out of play. So it's still a 2-strike count. Side. It's Myers, and he's got it to retire the side. Will go into the bottom of the 9th inning. James Loney will lead it off for the Rays, with the Rays and the Red Sox knotted at 3. Bottom of the ninth inning for the Rays. This game tied at 3, and the left-hander Craig Breslow will be the new pitcher for Boston. There's 5th of the game. So the lefty Breslow against the left-handed bat of Loney. DeJesus scheduled to hit next, but Geyer already has moved into the on-deck circle. Escobar due to hit 3rd. Well, here's Loney against the lefty. First pitch is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Fastball in the upper 80s. And Loney, in a conversation with Jerry Lane over the location of that pitch.
Yeah, that was off the plate. I mean, no question about it. And I think Loney's saying, first of all, is that a strike? And if it is that as far out as you're going to go?
Goes low. Low with that one. Let's take a look at the first pitch.
Yeah, I mean, James is just like, I just want to know what my odds are here in this at bat. Just give me a clue.
2 balls and a strike. A rip and fouls it back. Fastball. Breslow pitched an inning Friday night. Picked up a strikeout. Gave up a walk. Balfour up in the bullpen for the Rays. Cespedes toward the line, makes the catch. It stays up for him. 1 gone. Saloni's out number 1 in the 9th. Brandon Geyer will pinch hit for David DeJesus. DeJesus lifted. Geyer announced, and here comes John Farrell. That's going to be it for the left-hander Breslow, facing just the one left-handed hitter. Brandon Geyer Comes on to face Bert Badenhop. Badenhop inserted into the game with the announcement of the right-handed pinch hitter. And the first pitch, Geyer takes for a strike.
Badenhop, 2.43 earned run average in 60 games. Not a lot of strikeouts, but a lot of ground balls.
He's quickly ahead in the count to Geyer, 0-2. Big time sinker and the slider. Leaves it wide. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Upstairs, it's 2-2. Jonathan Papelbon is in the game in the bottom of the 9th for the Phillies. It's a pop-up on the infield. Bogarts takes care of that. Phillies into the bottom of the 9th inning have a combination no-hitter going. And Papelbon has retired the first 2 men in the bottom of the 9th. It was Hamels working 6th, Diekman the 7th, Giles the 8th, and now Papelbon in the 9th, with the Phillies leading the Braves in Atlanta 7-0. Yunel Escobar shoots one down to third on the ground, grabbed by Middlebrooks, and the throw to first in time. We're through 9, headed into extra innings on this Labor Day, tied 3-3. Presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. We're moving into the 10th inning. Boston scored a run in the 3rd, driven home by Mookie Betts, scoring Christian Vasquez, and the Rays got 3 in the bottom of the inning. Will Myers double scored 1, and then Evan Longoria singled home 2 more to make it 3-1. Mike Napoli hit a 4th inning home run. And then in the 8th, it was a base hit by Yoenis Cespedes, driving in Mookie Betts to tie the game 3-3. We stand that way as we go to the 10th. Grant Balfour on to make his 55th appearance.
Well, Grant Balfour has been much more aggressive in his most recent outings, and he's going to need to stay that way here. This would be a tough game here for the Rays to drop, having that, answering that first Boston run with 3 of their own, just not able to hold that lead, and now we find ourselves in extra innings.
Bogarts goes after the first pitch, skies it into right for Myers, approaching the line, and makes the catch just fair. Well, the Phillies threw a combination no-hitter against the Braves in Atlanta. Jonathan Papelbon in the game, and here's the final out. Phil Gosselin down to first, a little line drive, and a combination no-hitter. Cole Hamels went 6. Jake Diekman worked the 7th, Ken Giles the 8th, and then Papelbon. Christian Vasquez takes the first pitch strike. One and one. Well, 4 2/3 of an inning yesterday. Struck out Napoli and got Nava on a ground ball. And the check swing will run the count to 2-1. Grant pitched 2 innings in the 8-4 loss here Friday. Struck out 3 and walked 1 in those 2. And a base hit the other way for Vasquez. So he's aboard. We've seen him do that before in this series.
Yeah, we've seen some big swings, and then we've seen some hitability, and that's what we saw right here. A pitch that you were not going to be able to drive. And watch what he does. This ball is down. Actually, you probably could have driven that pitch, but he just stays inside of it and shoots it the other way, right through the gap.
Weeks will run. Just acquired the last couple days. Jamal Weeks running for Vasquez. So they put some speed at first. And Mookie Betts is at the plate.
Just say speed to burn up at the plate, too.
It's too low, 1-0. Betts has been in the middle of a couple of their runs. He doubled home a run in the 3rd, then singled and scored the tying run in the 8th. Weeks back in.
Gotta go out. Why so serious?
And again, and they picked him off. Balfour picks off Weeks. Boy, that's a big out for the Rays. And not too good for Weeks.
Nope.
Joining his new club, called upon to pinch run, and he's picked off.
Yep, got him leaning. His initial movement was towards second base right there. That's all it takes. That's absolutely all it takes. Hunter Wendelstedt right on the call and definitive.
So that erases that base runner. 2 outs with the bases empty. A strike at the knees. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Mookie, strike out.
Two balls and a strike. High fly ball into center. Kiermaier waiting on it. He's got it. And that'll take care of Boston in the 10th. Bottom of the 10th coming. Ryan Hannigan will lead it off. Tied 3-3. Pickoff in the top half of the 10th after the Red Sox had put a runner aboard, called upon Jamal Weeks to pinch run.
A couple things at play right here. Look at the lean and the quick tag by Loney. You got to be able to slap that thing down there as quick as it gets into your glove. As it try to make that play, and that's exactly what happened. And that was huge because you had speed there. There was just one out. Betts at the plate.
David Ross takes over behind the plate. Ryan Hannigan steps to the plate. Burke Badenhop got the last 2 outs in the 9th. He'll open the 10th. Pitch is a strike. Hannigan singled to start the 3rd. That led to a 3-run inning. Rays only need 1 here in the 10th. Foul back. 2. More action in the Rays bullpen. It's Brandon Gomes. It takes a lot of concentration to warm up under those circumstances.
Who? There was somebody warming up?
A 2-strike count. One ball, 2 strikes. Gomes not the only man warming up in the bullpen, apparently.
That's what you call action in the pen.
And alongside the pen, there is ball 2, 2-2. Rays trying to get a base runner here in this 3-3 ball game.
You knew it would.
Hannigan with a double. We'll watch him go into the bag head first. Farrell says, let's check it out.
Wow.
Anything definitive?
That's the thing. This is almost one of those whatever was called on the field, there's not enough to overturn it. Boy, nice job by Cespedes on this throw. Right there. Oh, boy.
I'll tell you.
So close.
Cespedes has 14 assists this year. And, boy, what a throw that was.
Yep. And I mean, if his hand was on the bag, it was grazing the bag when that tag came down. That's as close as you can get. But the clear and convincing is what comes into play here. Because the call on the field was safe. Is there enough there to overturn it?
So the Red Sox challenge this play.
Oh, boy. Put the pizza down and get to it.
Look at that. It has to be clear and convincing. Mike DeMuro on the call. Jerry Lane, the crew chief.
What do you got?
I don't know that there's, from what we've seen, anything clear and convincing.
Yep, I agree.
I've got to stand.
Yeah, call stands.
We'll see.
Yes, we shall very shortly.
It stands.
And that's exactly what it was. This was. There it goes. Call stands. That's right. And now the Rays have real opportunity, and they're going to fire out a pinch runner as Ryan Hannigan comes off the field. Sean Rodriguez out in second. And here we go.
So the pinch runner, Sean Rodriguez, on the double by Hannigan. Second hit of the day.
Hey, you know what? It's plays like that. It's exactly why you bust it out of the box when you make, because they can be that close. And if it's one lazy step out of the box, you're out. You get out of the box with everything, you're safe. That's why it matters.
Hannigan with a double. Rodriguez runs for him. Kevin Kiermaier will be the hitter. No reason to face him if you're the Red Sox, and they're going to walk him intentionally.
It doesn't get any easier on deck.
Nope. Top of the order, Ben Zobrist will follow Kiermaier.
This is the game right here for the Red Sox. Walk Kiermaier, and then all of a sudden Zobrist comes up here, and Badenhop, a pinch it for getting ground balls, is looking for a rollover here.
John Farrell heading to the mound. This is the first walk of the game given up by Boston pitching. It's an intentional walk here in the bottom of the 10th.
Rays are due for a walk-off.
Yes, they are.
Some excitement going on around here. You got the right part of the order to do it. Zobrist, tough at bat. Will Myers on deck, having a tremendous day.
The second baseman, number 18, Ben Zobrist.
Wait, look where they have Will Middlebrooks, too. See, right here, Ben Zobrist a couple of times has slapped a ball over there. Now he's got some room to work in this area, especially for a sinker ball.
And Zobrist bunting, bunts foul, strike one.
Well, if he does end up bunting, then and it's successful, do you pitch to Myers? Do you walk him? If you do, you move on down the line. Right now, the Rays looking to get runners out in scoring position because of the ground ball that Badenhop can get.
And he puts down the bunt, plays it first, and they got him there. So the Rays move Sean Rodriguez to third. Kiermaier follows up to second. And Zobrist puts down his second sacrifice bunt of the year.
Yeah, and that was a good one. You know, ideally, you'd like this to go up the third base line, but you see right here where Alan Craig is, that's why. But he deadens it enough that there's still no play for Craig, and that ball actually fluttered to first, barely got him. You know, he bunts that any harder, Craig may have a shot at third base.
Well, the Rays had a walk-off in 15 innings against the Red Sox here at the Trop back on May the 24th to win a game 6-5. Will Myers will be intentionally walked, so they load the bases to set up a force play at any base. The second intentional walk of the inning with Matt Joyce due up. Myers goes to first. Kiermaier second. The all-important man, Sean Rodriguez, down at third base. And Matt Joyce 0 for 4 today. Couple of strikeouts. Infield up for Boston, and the outfield in. So anything in the air with any depth at all ends it. So everybody's close, outfield and infield.
But this is the battle here. Execution. Badenhop wants to go down in the zone and get a ball on the ground. Matt Joyce wants something with some elevation that he can get under and end this thing.
Matt, fly ball left field. That's going to end it. Sean Rodriguez will score from third, and the Rays win it in 10, 4-3. Ryan Hannigan's double to open the inning keyed it. Matt Joyce got the ball in the air. Hit it deep to left. Cespedes had no shot. Let it drop. And the Rays win 4-3 in 10.
No drama at all. Matt Joyce just taking it right to Bert Badenhop and ended this game. Haven't seen that in a while. That walk-off by the Rays, some excitement. They even able to get an even split here in this series.
So the Rays win 4-3 in 10. Their 7th extra inning victory of the year. 4-9-0 for the Rays with 7 left, 3-6-0. 4 left for Boston. Balfour gets his second win. Badenhop the loser. He's 0-3. And right now, Todd Callis standing by with Matt Joyce on the field.
Dwayne, thanks, Matt. You know Badenhop very well. He's the guy you played with for a while. What's your approach there? Because he's trying to get you, obviously, to hit the ball on the ground.
Yeah, I just try to take my time a little bit there and have a better approach. I wanted to see the ball up a little bit and obviously hit a fly ball to left field deep enough to where the runner could tag and score.
And is that what you got? Was the pitch high enough where you felt like you could elevate it?
Yeah, I felt like it was a good enough pitch. I mean, obviously, the approach worked, and it's funny how things work out.
You know, it's been a tough home season for you guys. There's no getting around that. To get a walk-off, it's been since May 24th since he last had one. It's a long homestand. Is that a good way to kind of get things rolling into Toronto and then Baltimore coming into town?
Absolutely. 1 month ago, we want to finish strong, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to a strong ending of the season and hopefully have some fun along the way.
Is it dangerous after the walk-off with the guys attacking you a little bit?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. They get after it, but it's all a good time. They like to have fun.
Final thing, Matt, this is a team that you look at the month of August, the record wasn't where you wanted it, but the pitching just seems to always keep you in games. And again, today, Smiley gave you a chance to win.
Yeah, like you said, our pitching's been phenomenal all year long, and especially the second half, they've come out and kept us in games, seems like every day. And, for us, we're just trying to put up a few runs for them and walk away with a win.
Nice job today. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, guys. Matt Joyce walks it off. Back to you.
Second career walk-off for Matt Joyce. Rays win it in 10 innings. A 4-3 final. We'll be back in a moment.